Clean the screen.
Good afternoon. My speech is about why the death penalty should not be allowed. Julius and Ethel Rosenberg were executed for passing on information about the atomic bomb to Russia. The other atomic spies who were caught by the FBI offered confession and were not executed, including Ethel's brother, David Greenglass, who supplied all the documents and served 10 years of his 15-year sentence. The United States government confirmed Julius acting as a spy, but couldn't find evidence of Ethel's involvement. Ethel's brother, whose testimony had condemned her, later he stated that he had lied to protect his own wife, Ruth, who was the actual typist of the classified documents he stole. Capital punishment should not be considered morally acceptable. No matter how grave the crime this person did, the government should not be allowed to take away his life. Capital punishment should be abolished because 1, it doesn't prevent crimes, 2, could take lives of innocent people, 3, it should be considered unconstitutional. Capital punishment is meant to stop criminals from committing murder, but statistically had not done so. Jimmy Carter, 39th President of the United States, wrote in his April 25th, 2012 article, Show death penalty the door. Show death penalty the door. On the website of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. One argument for the death penalty is that it is a strong deterrent to murder and other violent crimes. In fact, evidence show that just the opposite. The homicide rate is at least 5 times greater in the United States than in any Western European country, all without the death penalty. Southern states carry out more than 80% of the execution, but have a higher murder rate than any other region. Texas has by far the most execution, but its homicide rate is twice that of Wisconsin, the first state to abolish the death penalty. First state that abolished the death penalty. Look at similar adjacent states. There are more capital crimes in South Dakota, Connecticut, and Virginia with death sentences than neighboring North Dakota, Massachusetts, and West Virginia without death penalties. Furthermore, there has never been any evidence that the death penalty reduces capital crimes that crimes increased when execution stopped. It has shown no evidence that this method lowers the murder rate. It is a known fact that people who are committing murders are doing so in a fit of rage or under the influence of drugs. They are not stopping to think what their punishment will be. Therefore, capital punishment should be done away with because it has been proven to not prevent crimes. The death penalty should be done away with because innocent people have lost their lives. 1 of the 7 suspect murderers is really innocent. 1 out of every suspect murders is really innocent. So isn't it worth saving 1 life of an innocent person rather than murdering the murderer? Remember Ethel Rosenberg, whoever was paying attention. If we didn't have capital punishment, she would have been able to still live her life. Wouldn't it be enough for a criminal to be sentenced to life imprisonment to be guaranteed that no more innocent lives will be taken? Capital punishment should not be considered moral. It should be unconstitutional. It goes against the 8th and 14th Amendment, which states that the government is not allowed to use cruel or unusual punishment and that people should have equal protection of the law. Government should not have the power to take away human life. Retribution is another word for revenge, which is not a rational response to a critical situation. When a murderer is killing someone, he's acting out of rage or under influence, and most likely does not realize what he is doing. Capital punishment seems to be worse because it is a thought-out ceremonious process, which stems from revenge. Capital punishment is a constitutional of the cycle of violence and should not be considered a means to an end. Just like you don't rape a rapist, why murder a murderer? Capital punishment is not only unconstitutional and immoral, but it has taken innocent lives. It has proven that capital punishment is not an effective deterrent for crime. Capital punishment should not be considered morally acceptable. How would you feel if you were going to be killed for a murder that you did not do?